Hi everyone, a very good evening to all of you. Welcome to this session. Another editorial explanation analysis for all of you. Please quickly let me know if I am properly audible and visible to you all. All good to go? Those watching me for the first time, I am Niharika John Mehra, your faculty of English here on CGB Mentors, and here I am with another editorial. Let me quickly give you an update on how my classes work. So my classes on Monday, Tuesdays, and Fridays are here on this channel at 1:30 p.m. That's the practice session for any particular exam that we are targeting at that point of time. But there is one consistent series going on 8 p.m. Monday to Saturday. It's this series, and we have this series which is covering everything. It covers vocab, grammar, comprehension, some practice questions. So everything at one point in one session you are getting. Do not miss out on any session. Okay. Apart from this, if you don't know me, my name is Niharika John Mehra. जल्दी से सेशन को लाइक और शेयर कर दो सब्सक्राइब द चैनल इफ यू आर न्यू हियर एंड वी आर गोइंग टू डीप डाइव हियर इन दिस एनालिसिस. So I want to teach you, if you are new here, then I want to teach you skimming, which is an art of reading in a way where you speedily read the part of content or piece of content and you understand the main essence of it. We don't want to go into translation, no pronunciation, no reading it out like a speech in our mind. It should be focused on capturing the picture of what is written and trying and understand through that. Because in exam you are required to skim. You require more of time that you can get in your hands, and वो होता ही नहीं है ज़्यादा, right? So we need to make sure that we are skimming, not doing a typical reading. Also try not to pronounce words in your mind and numbers and names and all. वो ज़्यादा मत पढ़ो, deep में उतना नहीं जाओ. If in RC a question is asked, you can get back to a certain place where you think answer could be there. Otherwise, please make sure you are pro at skimming. So अभी मैं आपको टाइमर के साथ में रीड करने के लिए प्रैक्टिस करा रही हूँ. You have to skim just like the way I discussed just now, and I'll scroll for you, but I want you to start reading. Okay, this is the article, this is editorial taken from the Hindu newspaper. Okay, so time is up, and I hope you might have read in 1 to 2 lines. Write down here in the chart what you have understood. Okay, बैंकिंग IBPS के लिए बेनिफिट रहेगा क्या मैम? Are you asking about the session? So let me tell you, ये session जो है any exam where English is asked. English अगर पूछा जा रहा है, objective, descriptive, subjective, all types of questions, you are going to be benefited from editorial classes. इससे आपकी comprehension, vocabulary, we are going to do vocabulary, grammar also. So every part is covered. So for any exam, competitive exam, okay, may it be regulatory, it may be banking, other banking exams, it may be UPSC or anything, you will get a lot of benefit from these classes. So एक regularly अगर बने रहोगे, you yourself will see the improvement to answer your question. Now it's your turn. तो आप लोग मुझे 1 to 2 लाइन से बताएंगे कि आपने क्या मेन मैसेज पकड़ा है इस पैसेज का. And I'm going to explain this to you. By that time you can write and कान भी खुले रखो. सुनो. Now one thing I'll tell you, okay, before I start, I told you skimming में you don't have to read a lot of numbers. So you can see, we can see years have been mentioned here. So 22 to 23, 22 to 23, I can have a look at it and not read in my mind. Another figure, 12,042. 19,625. I don't have to read. लगभग 19K staff and 12K permanent staff. Okay, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, TIFR. I can just have a look at it and understand. और Tata Institute अकेला पढ़ सकती हूँ मैं. That will save a lot of time, and that's the way skimming should be done. That is one of the ways skimming should be done. अब आगे पढ़ते हैं, समझते हैं. Leaky pipeline on India and permanent scientific staff. So the flow here is not what we want. There are some loopholes. India must ensure it retains the services of committed scientists. The author is saying that we must make sure that we are able to keep these services. We are able to keep our scientists in India and retain them, have hold on them, of course, through providing them work. A recent report analyzing public funded research and development institution in India. This report had some pointers that should raise an alarm. It's a negative beginning. Something is alarming. The report is alarming. In several of 244 institutions studied, there was a decrease in the number of permanent scientific staff in 2022-23 compared to the previous year. So छोटी सी बात है इस सेंटेंस में, decrease in number of permanent staff. There were also fewer organizations in 2022-23 compared to the previous year that reported hiring permanent staff. No new hiring and also decrease in the number of permanent staff. The institutes together had 19K contractual staff and 12K permanent staff. ये सब डेटा है, ज़्यादा जाने की ज़रूरत नहीं. We know कि opportunities नहीं है. Not surprisingly, the slowdown in hiring was made up by hiring scientific research personnel on short-term contracts. Now here is something important out of all sentences. Why this happened? Why there was slowdown? Because the hiring was made based on short-term contracts. These contractual staff were a 14% rise over 21-22. So short-term contracts से के ज़्यादा hire कर रहे, permanent hire नहीं कर रहे. The very fact that contractual workers exceed permanent in scientific institution is a matter of concern. Author is saying, ये matter of concern है. This data emerges from a study commissioned by the Office of Advisor, and the institution studied do not include strategic sectors. Strategic sectors का data नहीं है, ये दूसरे institutions का है. Strategic sectors जैसे कि defense, atomic energy and space, which consume the lion's share of India's research and development expenditure. So, lion's share is the biggest portion, biggest percentage अगर कोई चीज़ parts में divided है. This is again one of the most common phrases, idioms that we have seen in exams. Okay? आगे पढ़ते हैं. As a report of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on all these tabled in Parliament last month observed. So as a report that was observed, Nearly 3 in 5, okay, 3 out of 5 of the posts sanctioned for scientific personnel at one of the India's top institutes for basic science research, TIFR, are unfilled. So 3 out of 5 are unfilled. Basically वो बोलना था, इतना लंबा चौड़ा उसका explanation था. The TIFR is primarily funded by Department of Atomic Energy. Further, the parliamentary report found that on average 1 in 4 of the sanctioned posts at key atomic energy research institution and nuclear power plants was vacant. तो vacancy है, post खाली पड़ी हैं. Clearly, the rot runs deep. And clearly, यहाँ पे जो idiom का use हुआ है, rot runs deep, that means things are deep rooted. Their challenges are not something जो ऊपर से हैं, but they are somewhere deeply rooted. They are deep rooted and we need to work on that level. अभी उनको हटाने के लिए बहुत ग्राउंड पर काम करना पड़ेगा. आगे देखते हैं क्या बोल रहा है. On the one hand, the government has announced missions to develop quantum computers and develop foundational AI models. In my mind, जब मैं artificial intelligence देखती हूँ, because I have read so much, automatically register क्या होता है AI. So I'm not wasting my time to go through the whole pronunciation of 2 words. This is the benefit when you read a lot and you read regularly. Okay? It has also declared its intent to align research and development towards industry specific research. तो ये मिशंस हैं, हम कहाँ पर ज़्यादा रिसर्च करेंगे and all. However, none of this will bear fruit. ये काम क्या नहीं है ना साइंटिस्ट के बिना, without scientists. Particularly young researchers who are engaged full time, having long careers at institutions doing cutting edge research. Especially author is in the favor of making sure that young researchers join for a long time, because the kind of research we need will of course take a long time, because we require that cutting edge research. The government had once set up institutions like IISER and introduced 4-year undergraduate programs in basic science. तो अभी क्या हुआ, गवर्नमेंट एक समय पे we had this institution, okay, many, but then one of those is this one, precisely because incentives then were not strong enough to retain potential scientists. कि उस समय, पहले समय जब ये सेटअप हुआ था, the incentive or whatever stipend and all they were getting or resource that was required to keep the potential scientists in the country, it was not enough. So India needs to ensure that the conditions for research, such as salaries, funds, equipment to do good research, are made available more widely. So it's not just about the money, but also the equipment and whatever they require to continue strong research, good research. Those things should be made available to these people so that we can retain. We should not let these scientists slip from our hands. Okay? तो ये पूरा आपका पैसेज था. Let's see some of the words. Leaky pipeline. It was in the headline. Okay, so there is a system where talent is lost at various stages. This is again something business world related, corporate world related word. Okay, pipeline. So there are things in the pipeline. Okay, we are set to follow a few things. That's how it is used. When you say a leaky pipeline, that means something is there with respect to which alag stages पर we are losing out things. It could be talent, it could be something useful. So leaky pipeline उसे बोलते हैं. Contractual staff, temporary hires, they are not permanent staff. Strategic sectors are sensitive areas vital for national interest. So this is a good term for you all to learn. Those areas, those sectors, okay. First of all, those that are of national interest and they are sensitive areas, okay. That defense related domain especially. So वहाँ पे उन्हें strategic sectors बोला जाता है. Sanction posts are the authorized vacancies, officially approved positions for any job. Something that for which we are saying this rot runs deep. Rot problems runs deep means a widespread systemic. They are deep ingrained in the system, गहराई तक फैली हुई है. So this is a phrase. Cutting edge is another phrase which is more, I think, something that you would know already. Extremely modern, advanced level का, innovative है, cutting edge technology, cutting edge research, cutting edge innovation. Incentives can be anything, not only related to money, but it could be anything that is giving encouragement or motivation to someone to do something. Okay, that's not the salary part. Salary is mostly like you are working, so with respect to that, you are getting a certain something in return, a certain amount in return. That is salary. But above that, if any incentive is given, any kind of benefit, any kind of coupons, any kind of leisure activity, of course, bonus money, any kind of thing, that is incentive. Any kind of favor is also incentive. So प्रोत्साहन बनाए रखने के लिए जो ऊपर से दिया जाता है उसे incentive बोलते हैं. Retaining is to keep or hold on to, पकड़ रखे रखना, maintain करना, बनाए रखना. Foundational is anything which is basic, core, primary to something, and align is to bring things in coordination. संग में लेके आना, साथ में लेकर आना, coordinate रखे रखना. Okay, so ये आपके word meanings थे. Now first let's discuss the summary, then we will go to the grammar part. So the summary was like this, that the editorial raises alarm over the falling number of permanent scientific staff in India's publicly funded R&D institution. So we saw that permanent scientific staff decrease हो रहा है. Contractual hires now outnumber permanent researchers, leading to instability and poor career incentives. So of course, everyone wants security and good career. Okay, something जिसके ऊपर हम rely कर सके, and contractual hires नहीं करते हो. With nearly 60% of posts unfilled at TIFR and similar gaps in atomic energy research, Editorial warns that India's ambitious goals in AI and quantum computing will be jeopardized. जब लोग ही नहीं है, post ही unfilled है, how we will be able to achieve the goal? Especially when it comes to AI and quantum. Okay, unless long-term, well-supported paths for scientists are ensured. So there is a condition. We want to make sure that scientists are retained. The government must not only announce missions but invest in people, fill vacancies, offer better salaries, strengthen foundational research environment, जो equipment है वो दो, जो चाहिए वो दो. तो ये आपका summary था. Now it's your turn to answer. You need to tell me subject and verb of this sentence, main subject and main verb of the sentence that I have marked. The answer here is jeopardize means putting something in danger or someone into danger. Okay. So a recent report analyzing public funded research etc. The first noun is report, and that's because कोई और preposition नहीं है ना starting में. That's my noun singular and the main subject. Okay. Now what kind of report it is? Analyze करती हुई है institutions को in India. The report had some pointers. So had, this is used as verb second form here. It is the main verb as well of the sentence क्योंकि और कोई action नहीं हो रहा है. So had अपने आप में main verb ही के जैसा act कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे, and that's the subject verb agreement that we can find. Okay, इस was का सब्जेक्ट बताओ. सब्जेक्ट क्या है इस was का? Come on. So a sentence, whenever it starts with there, we need to be on alert that we will have our verb agreement found with, or I have to agree my verb with the noun after this verb. Okay, so my noun or a pronoun is to be found after the verb in the case sentence starts with there. This is what is happening here. Now here was a decrease. Decrease is a noun and verb. In this sentence it is acting as a noun because it is a decrease and it is singular. That's why हमने was लगाया है यहाँ पर. Okay, so this is how we check it. Okay, my next question to you is what kind of noun do we use with these? Okay, what kind of noun do I use? मेरा noun these के बाद कैसा होगा? What kind of noun, what type of noun do I use after the adjective these? I'll connect the dot later on. I want to teach something important here, but before that you answer me this thing. No one? So whenever I use these, I'm going to use a plural noun. Okay? So it's going to be these learners, these teachers, these students, these boys, these girls. Now you can see a structure here. Okay? These contractual staff. So you must have a good idea of a collective noun. Staff is a collective noun. Collective nouns can act plural as well as singular depending on how we are using them. So when I use these, I am not supposed to change this to staffs. Okay, we can just use the word staff. These contractual staff, these staff के लिए लगा है. And since these is present, it helps us to understand staff को plural के समान use करा है. We are using staff as plural and hence हमने verb का use करा है यहाँ पर. I hope you are getting this. Okay. Next question. No, demonstrative pronoun अगर होता, I'll clarify this. So if you use these as demonstrative, then you won't find a noun immediately after it. For example, these are tasty. Okay, so let's say I'm talking about some apples and they are very tasty. So these are tasty. This is your pronoun. But same word अगर noun के साथ use हो रहा है, now it is adjective. It has to follow some other rules. Okay, cool. You tell me the part of speech of this word. Adverb. Okay, so there is an error here, okay, in this particular article. It's a minor error, but you have to make sure you don't make this mistake in your exam. I'll just explain that. The institutions studied do not include the strategic sectors such as ABCD. यहाँ पे and के पहले there was one sentence, one clause, this data emerges from a study. किसने करी, क्या करी? And this institution studied verb third form as adjective काम कर रहा है. Okay, institutions जिनके ऊपर study हुई. So institutions studied, institutions do not include strategic sectors. This comma here is unnecessary. The punctuation is wrong at this point. Okay, and you are supposed to take care of punctuation marks if you are preparing for any descriptive paper. Okay. Part of speech of retain. After this, we are going to do some questions. After this, one more question, and then we are going to. This is a verb first form. Okay. Is this an adjective or an adverb? Tell me. Is the word enough, the way it is used in the sentence, an adjective or an adverb? Make sure to like and share the video, guys. So whenever enough is used after the verb or after the word it is explaining, then it is an adverb. So strong is adjective. Explanation, modification of this word is done by enough and it is after the word जिसको वो समझा रहा है. That's how I know it is an adverb. अगर ये adjective होता, so we would have gotten to see something like this: enough plus noun. Enough time, enough marks, enough effort, like that. Chalo. So exam angle, let's first quickly see some of the possible essay topics. So science, India's science workforce crisis. Fixing the leaky pipeline, ये नहीं भी हो, so workforce crisis in scientific world could be a good topic that could be asked. Permanent versus project-based employment in research institution or in general. This is another great topic if we look at today's scenario, present scenario, market scenario where jobs are not that easily available, so ये आ सकता है. Is India ready for AI and quantum tech without scientists? Now, this is specifically related to the scientific world. That do we have manpower, enough manpower? Are we able to keep them? Are we able to retain them? So you can use some of the facts or maybe some of the content from what we just read. We'll start with the questions now. Chalo. First question. Answer to this one is C. Which of the following best characterizes the central concern of the editorial? So, the main concern is contractualization of staff that is undermining long term research capacity because people don't have faith no that they are going to stick or not. They don't have that kind of trust yet because contractualization. So, that's your answer. I have an important announcement to make. I'll do that towards the end of the session. Okay, so please stay tuned. Go back. Okay, so answer to this one is B. Which of the following stats reflects the severity of unfilled scientific positions as per the editorial? 1 in 4 sanctioned posts in atomic energy is vacant. 90% is conducted in atomic energy, but this is not about the unfilled post. 80% are project based, not about unfilled post. Uh, all quantum computing positions are all are underfilled. All के बारे में तो कहीं दिया ही नहीं था. Next. Answer is B. What contradiction does the editorial highlight between policy and practice? So, what contradiction is my question here? India's export policy ignores technology sectors, not what is mentioned. Missions for frontier technology are announced despite shortage of human capital. We saw AI and quantum के लिए जो we are planning to do ahead in the future. So these are the missions for frontier technologies. They are the latest technologies, quantum and AI. But we are short of human capital. There we go. Budget cuts are hurting education more than research. This is not a contradiction. Education के बारे में तो था भी नहीं. Strategic sectors are overstaffed ये तो और उल्टा है than what we get to read in the passage. Answer to the fourth one is C. Leaky pipeline, systemic failure to retain scientific talent at various stages. I have also discussed this term in the vocabulary part. Next. Answer to this one is D. Why does the editorial consider data alarming despite excluding strategic sectors? Strategic sectors so included nahi the, still why is this data alarming? Because if non-strategic sectors are failing, overall R&D stability is worse than reported. He says na it goes deep down. Rot wala part jo bola tha usne. So this means that if these sectors are failing, then आगे तो क्या ही होगा? First question, error detection. Okay. So this one answer for this particular question is D. Okay. The report tabled in Parliament report reveals that nearly 3 out of 5 posts in premier institution. This reports that nearly there is a percent, there is a number, there is a fraction. Okay, 3 out of 5. Anytime if fraction is given, it is always singular. Okay, as a subject. So this fraction continues to stay unfilled. हम इसे नहीं बोल सकते. Still अगर हम इसे देखें तो when we want to say 3 posts, अगर इसको हम open करें और right now it is 3 out of 5, 3 posts out of whatever, तो है तो मेरा plural. In such a case वो fraction वाले को bypass कर दे रहा है ये post word के कारण. If I open it that way, succinct form में नहीं लिखें, hence continue यहाँ पर होना था. CD, no, don't give answer like that. Stick to something, just like one option. Okay. So you answer this one, all of you, and then I'll explain that one once again. Excuse me. So for second answer is no error, but I'll just take this part again. Let's say you have a percentage like 75% of X or whatever the thing is not working. Okay. So if I have a percentage, or let's say if I say 3/4 th of y has something. Now when I have such numbers in percent or fractions as subject, that is always singular. But in this case, what has happened, I'm talking about 3 posts out of 5 posts. We don't have elaborated format here. It is written in a succinct, crisp manner, but the meaning of it is 3 posts, plural, out of 5, 10, whatever posts. This is my main subject, and hence I have to use continue, not continues. While the government has declared what its commitment, to whom, to what, to quantum research and AI, it is yet to deploy what meaningful instruments that incentivize what full-time careers. Next question, third one. Make sure to like and share, guys. Answer to this one is A. Okay. Despite rising the number of contractual hires, the decline in permanent staff suggests. Okay. Now, see, please try and understand when we use such a phrase with despite. I need to go ahead with completing the phrase with despite. तो यहाँ rising नहीं आएगा, यहाँ पर I need a proper noun to complete despite के साथ जो भी लिखना है. So despite the rise in, not rising, the rise in the number of hires, the decline suggests a long-term erosion of what? Of knowledge and continuity. Okay. Yes, A is the answer. Despite the rise in number. Fourth one. Okay, for the fourth one, answer is C. Okay, now again, let's read the sentence. India's science policy will only succeed, future tense, if आया, if के पहले अगर you have a subject and a verb, a clause, and after if also you have a clause, please check. ऐसा तो नहीं है कोई conditional sentence है. Please check if a conditional sentence is given to you. In this case, it was. And because I have something which is in future tense in the first part, I cannot use type 2. I will have to use type 1 conditional, and correction would be if vacancies are addressed and are provided. Okay, so the clause, the sentence part that will follow if should be in simple present tense. Okay, present indefinite or simple present tense. You should know conditionals. You should know where to use which type of conditional. Also, what's the structure that is followed in all the conditionals. The last one answer is D. Okay, so parallelism is to be maintained. The editorial notes that many institutions neither hired nor retained. This is the parallelism I need to maintain, and hence D is answer. That's it. Thank you guys for being here. Important announcement, a very important announcement. Tomorrow we have class at 1:30 p.m. This editorial class is at this timing. Please make sure that you are here. If there is any change, you will get to know through our channel. I mean, just keep a check, subscribe the channel so you get the notifications. Keep a check here. But just for tomorrow, 99% this class editorial session is going to be at 1:30 p.m. Okay, so see you guys. Bye, take care.